Was that the only time that she told you that was not your child?
No, there have been multiple occasions. She even told that to her mom.
He stated that my son did not look like him and that it looked like it was from a Black guy. And so.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, gosh, Christina's been gone for a while though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked her.
Yeah.
I hated to get phone calls from her, but
Yeah.
Nick, you got a sitting Monday morning with Judge, what was his name? Judge, oh God, I forgot his name. He was horrible. I mean, you start crying when she told you that. No, please not him. Yep. I'm sorry, 16. Let me get the cause number.
Yeah.
Can I have the host, please?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Tracy said to remind you you're live.
You what?
Remind you you're live.
Oh, yes, I'm live. Hello, all my fans. We have Miss Dorcas Vega and Mr. Nicholas Vega, represented here by Mr. Mercado. Looks like this is what is this, suit to add a new child? Is that
Yes,
right?
Your Honor. Final hearing for, we had temporary orders.
Okay, so what do we have, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. So there is a stipulation, Your Honor, in this final hearing. So the establishment of the paternity for the child Osiris was done under the temporary order in December, and the conservatorship aspect was all taken care of. So for today, Your Honor, what we have is the parties are stipulating to admitting tax documents, Mr. Vega's tax documents as of filings as of 2021, tax documents of 2022. His pay stubs, his most recent pay stubs of 2023.
Okay.
And the parties are in agreement to retroactive medical and retroactive dental, Your Honor, to be zero for the child Osiris.
Okay.
They are in agreement to set for there was a visitation and access for Osiris under the temporary order, Your Honor, but it was the one that was every other weekend, but now Mr. Vega is 100 miles because of employment. So they're asking the court to change that for Osiris, and I believe also for the other child that's previously addressed under this cause action, to set it under the 100 miles, which would be 1 weekend out of the month. And I believe because of in the summers, it would be, my understanding is it's 42 days with each parent because of the 100 miles. So it does change it from the 30s to 42 days.
Okay.
They're also in agreement with the pickup of the child for Mr. Vega to pick up both children at mom's residence. I believe she does live here in Bexar County, but for the drop off, that's going to be the issue, Your Honor. It's where, the return. So that'll be something that the parties will argue about that.
Okay.
And the other agreement is that the parties are stipulating that in this case, Mr. Vega's balance for the child support for the first child is zero balance as of December 31st, 2022. And we'll have to take a cumulative judgment because of there is the issue of retroactive child support. So we'll have to do a cumulative, but it's zero balance for the first child. They're also in agreement with Mr. Vega continuing to carry medical and dental insurance via his employer and receiving a credit of $704.60 total for both the medical and the dental.
Okay.
And neither of them have any safety concerns, Your Honor, regarding their address showing up on the order, regarding each other or anybody else. And the only issues are going to be the retroactive child support, the child support amount that'll start March 1st, 2022. The visit, the return, and I think there are some questions that Ms. Vega has regarding the visitation, since dad is going to be living outside of the country for a period of time. I don't know that they'll go into detail regarding that. And there was a prior amount, Your Honor, set for child support under the temporary order, but Mr. Mercado, will address that and will argue to the court that his Mr. Vega's employment hours have been reduced or have changed since the prior order.
Okay, Ms. Dorcas, Mr. Vega, sounds like you'll both be testifying in a few moments. Can I ask you to raise your right hands to be sworn to testify? Do each of you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Ms. Dorcas, okay. Thank you
sir.
both. Okay, Mr. Diaz, if you want to go ahead and start the questioning on the remaining issues.
Judge, if I
Yes, sir.
may,
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Mercado. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yes, I just want the court to be aware that it was us who filed this petition. We filed a petition to modify in April of 2022 to get all these issues addressed. It wasn't till the AG filed their counter petition. So we spend the money filing and doing things like that. So I just want the court to be aware of that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Diaz.
Yes, Ms. Vega, regarding the child Osiris, when the child was born, did you and Mr. Vega live together after the child was born?
No.
Okay, and what month and year was Osiris born, Ms. Vega?
November of 2020.
Okay, was Mr. Vega? Did you notify Mr. Vega about the child being born?
Yes, he knew.
Right, and how did he know that, ma'am?
Because we had asked if he could possibly come down to be there for the delivery.
Okay, was he present at the delivery?
No.
Okay, has he visited the child?
Yes.
Okay, what month and year did he visit the child?
I believe it was July of 2021. And I believe September. It was about every 3 months because he would come and get the first child, and so Osiris was here as well.
Okay. So and since the child was born, how much child support has Mr. Vega provided to you for the benefit of Osiris, whether it's cash or diapers or formula, anything for the benefit of the child Osiris since the child was born? How much is that?
None.
Okay. And for the return of the child, ma'am, what in terms of dad is willing to come over and pick up the child at your residence, what are you proposing to the court in terms of returning the children to when the children are supposed to be returned to you? What are you requesting the court to do?
I would just like to know which location, because Mr. Vega did mention wanting to move out of the country. So I don't know what procedures I would have in regards to picking up the kids from Colombia, if that is where he's planning on staying. So I don't really know exactly where he's staying at because it is so up and down. So I'm not really sure even the location itself, where I would be flying to, which location. Yeah, I kind of need more info on that.
Okay. And then, ma'am, regarding his Mr. Vega's employment, are you aware of any other sources of income that are not listed, that are different from his current pay stub, or any other under the that's cash or anything like that? Are you aware of any other additional income?
Not aware of anything else.
Okay. All right. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Mercado.
Ms. Dorcas, from your testimony right now, I'm gathering that you're fine with flying into wherever Mr. Vega lives, whether Utah or wherever else he lives, to pick up the children at the end. Is that correct?
Yes, I could do that.
Okay, so it should be a joint obligation for both you and him to pay for some of these trips, correct?
Yes, I believe it should be fair and equal.
No further questions.
Okay, next witness, Mr. Diaz.
Yes, Mr. Vega. Mr. Vega, since the child was born, were you aware that when did you become aware that the child was Osiris was actually born?
I was aware that he was gonna be born, but I was told that he wasn't my son.
Who told you that?
Dorcas D.
Okay. Were you at the time when the child was born, were you still in a relationship with dating relationship with Miss Vega?
No, sir.
All right. And then let's see here. And then since the child was born, how much child support have you provided to Miss Vega for the benefit of the child Osiris?
Well, I don't know the exact amount, but usually every time I go into town, I'll help fill the fridge up or buy diapers or whatever's kind of needed. That's just my personality. And actually, I have proof that I've been there before July of 2021 or June. I have proof of being there when he was a couple months old, if not even before that.
Okay. And Mr. Vega, if you could, how much would you say you've provided for the benefit of the child Osiris since the child was born, or when you say you've visited, how much, if you could put a dollar amount, how much would you say you've done since that period until the child was born up until December 31st of 2022?
Between clothing, diapers, and stuff like that, not a whole lot, maybe a couple $100. I would say like $200-300. Just for only him, only specifically for him.
Right. Okay. $200-300. Okay. And then currently, let's see here. What is the has anything changed since in your employment since the temporary order was done in December of 2022? What has changed, if anything?
Yeah, we're in the slower season now. So like because of it all depends on contracts and everything with work. Our work slows down and it really picks up towards the end of the year. So like our heavy months usually end up being like September through December of the year.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I do oil and gas in the Arctic.
Okay. Let me see here. And see. And you're the state offers into evidence, which is marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit A, which is the most up-to-date pay stub. Sharing this with
Any objections, Mr. Mercado?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Exhibit A will be admitted.
So, Mr. Vega, this is your pay stub. Do you have any most recent, or is this the most recent pay stub that you have from your employer?
That is the most recent pay stub.
Okay. And regarding the what you were making here in terms of your monthly gross, or has any of this overtime, regular time, is this expected to change?
Yeah, it'll go up and down depending what we have, but like that's why I guess I estimate, because off of that right now I would only be making like around $48,000 a year or some really low amount. It should go somewhere up around 60 to 65, probably around 63.
Okay, so your estimate is that do you anticipate to make about 63,000 this year? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What are you seeing? Okay, and let me show you what's. Let me offer into evidence around what's been marked for identification purposes, State's Exhibit B, which is Mr. Vega's tax return, 2022 tax return.
Okay, Mr. Mercado, any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay.
Exhibit B will be admitted.
All right. And then here's your tax return, Mr. Vega. Shows your income was monthly gross was $74,494. Okay. Was this with the same company, Mr. Vega? 2022?
Not the whole year. But most of where the big chunk of money did come from the same company. Because I knew I was going to pick up the kids for December and I have some debts. I asked my employer to allow me to exert as much overtime as possible. So I worked over, did as much as I possibly could. And this year, from what they're saying, it doesn't look like it's going to be as heavy as last year.
Okay. And then the state offers into evidence what's marked for identification purposes as State Exhibit C, which is Mr. Vega's 2021 tax returns. Does anybody have any objections?
No objections.
Okay, Exhibit C will be admitted.
Let me share this with everyone.
Okay.
Your monthly gross was 11,425. Was this what company was this, Mr. Vega?
That was with Element Technical Services.
Okay. And what was did you not work there all year of 2021, or what was the situation in terms of the income being significantly less than 2022?
My shoulder got destroyed completely and I was unable to work for over 6 months.
Okay, I see. All right, let's see here. For the month of December of 2020, was your financial situation similar to what was listed here in 2021?
Yeah, I was actually completely unemployed, I think, that month.
Okay. And regarding visitation, what are you requesting the court for the return of the children? Where are you where are you planning on living right now? I don't are you in Colombia? I think that's what mom mentioned.
Yes, sir. I'm in Colombia. So I'm engaged and we'll be getting married in Colombia until my spouse is able to have her K-3 visa come through. We don't know exactly when that'll be because it takes, I don't know how long it takes. And then we'll be moving to Utah afterwards. I've forwarded actually the exact address to her. So she does have the exact address. I even have a proof of a text telling her the exact address that I'll be living at. And I've done the same with Mr. Mercado. So that way he can inform the court as well.
Okay. And for the visitations, are you for the summers? Are you planning to take the children over to Colombia if that's still the situation? Like if you're still living?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Smith Couple.
Okay, Mr. Vega, to clarify, you work where?
I work in Alaska.
And you are currently living as of today where?
In Colombia.
And that implies you fly back and forth how often?
Every single month.
Okay. And prior to living in Colombia, where were you living?
Utah.
Okay. When did you move from Utah to Colombia?
I just did that last month.
At the time that the order of divorce was rendered, where were you and Ms. Dorcas Vega living at?
We were living in Utah.
Okay. And so the order that provided for the visitation and all that stuff was because you guys were living in the same state, correct?
Correct.
And after that, where did she move to?
Texas.
Okay. And so you stated that you visited with the children. How often do you visit with the children?
Quite often. I usually try to be there as much as I can. Sometimes like about every single major break, like spring breaks, fall breaks, summer breaks. I usually try to get them every Christmas because my family's really big into Christmas or any major event. I usually try to be there for them.
And so were you doing this not only for the older child that you have the court order, but this child that we're right now?
No, with Osiris, she would only let me do stuff with him in state. This last Christmas, as of December, was the very first time I was able to actually take him out of state.
Okay. So mom testified that she told you that the child was going to be born. Was that true?
She did testify. Yeah, she did tell me.
Okay. So why did you show up to the delivery?
I did not.
Why did you not show up to the delivery?
Because she said that he wasn't my child.
And was that the only time that she told you that was not your child?
No, there have been multiple occasions. She even told that to her mom.
Okay. And when you first came down, and mom said it was July 2021, but you're saying before July 2021. Did you believe that this child was yours?
No, at the time I honestly didn't, but I started bonding with him.
Okay. And so even though he wasn't your child, did you take the child out with the other child? And did you, BJ already said the word bonding, did you bond with this child?
I sure did.
Okay. And so after you're bonding with this child, why did you file the lawsuit?
Well, he had no father, and if he's my son, I want to know. I want to be able to be his parent. I want to be able to have rights. I want to be able to be a parent in his life.
And so we filed this lawsuit in April 26, 2022, correct?
Correct.
So what made you think that this might be your son?
Well, I just fell in love with him. Like, he looks a lot like Amir, like my other child. And there was always that if he's on, if he is, if he is, if he isn't kind of thing. And so I just wanted to make sure 100%. I wanted to get that straight.
But it's your testimony that mom told you that you were not the father on multiple occasions.
Correct.
And when we started a lawsuit, were we able to serve Ms. Vega?
No, sir. She avoided.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I'd heard you. Did you say something, Your Honor?
No, my phone dinged.
Okay. And so it wasn't until the Attorney General's office got involved that we were able to get Ms. Dorcas Vega served, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, it wasn't into many months after, and many times that we set cases for temporary orders that we were able to do the DNA test, correct?
Correct.
Had you known back then that you were the father, what would you have done?
Out of taking care of business, out of paid my child support, I would have been able to actually, I got robbed of more time with him in reality, because I would have been able to bring him for the summer to Utah like I did with Amira.
He
Yeah,
was still
it's just-
breastfeeding at that time.
Hold on, ma'am. We'll get back to you in just a moment.
So with regards to retroactive support, what is it that you want the court to do?
Me, I would like the court to consider the fact that at the time I didn't even know if he was my son, 100%. I went out of my way to hire Mr. Mercado to verify that he's my son. I've done everything on my power that I can to make things right.
Okay. Now, there's a income tax of 2022 that shows that you make roughly around 74, that you made 74,000 last year, correct?
Correct.
Are you going to make the same amount this year?
No, sir.
What is different now?
There just isn't as much work. Last year, I overexerted my ability to be able to work overtime and over.
And so when you're saying that you overexerted yourself, is that no longer available to do as much overtime?
Yeah, there isn't, because there isn't the same amount of work to allow people to do that.
And not only has that, your lifestyle has changed in the sense that now you're getting married, correct?
Correct.
And so even if you wanted to, you were not going to be able to do additional overtime that you were able to do before, correct?
Correct.
And so knowing all this and knowing that there's some overtime that's required in this work, what is your projected income for this year?
It's projected to be around $63,000.
Okay. And you're asking the court to set the child support based on that 63,000.
Yes, sir.
With regards to the drop off and pickup, mom has already testified that she has no problem doing a joint obligation. Is that what you want?
That, or she can help cover the cost of flights if she's unable to pick them up.
So it'd be a joint obligation. And if she's not going to take any responsibility, you're asking the court to take some of the costs into consideration of the child support to lower your child support, right?
Yes, sir.
So on average from Utah, what is it that you're spending to come and pick up the kids if you had to come pick up the kids?
It's about $800 per person, so it ends up being like somewhere over, just over $2,000, just go round trip.
And you're picking up the children or you're visiting the children Christmas, the major holidays, right? Which would be
Right.
summer, Thanksgiving, Christmas, spring break, correct?
Right.
At least 4 times a year.
Correct.
Okay. But if mom is taking, and it's a joint obligation, then there's no need to reduce the child support, correct?
Correct.
And no further questions.
Mr. Vega, how long do you anticipate being in Colombia?
From what we're talking to one of my best friends' wife, who happens to be a lawyer, she says it depends from the moment we get married. It could take anywhere between 4 months to 12 months for her visa to come through.
Do you
So
expect? I'm sorry.
Sorry to interrupt you there,
No, it's
Your
okay.
Honor. So I'm expecting because of Colombia and everything, it could take up to a year. So I'm thinking probably a year from the time I get married, and we're hoping to get married during the summer when the kids come down, because I want them to be part of that.
And how old are these children again?
Baby boy Osiris is 2 years old. He'll be
Uh-huh.
2.5 then, and Amira 7.
Okay, and you have a relationship with both of them.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you asking Miss Vega to share the expense to fly them back home, or to pay the fare to come back home?
Yes, sir.
Do they require any special documentation to go to Colombia?
Yeah, anytime, as far as I've researched, there will need to be some kind of notarized paperwork or something stating that the parent allows me to bring him back from, and it has to be an exact date, from this date to this date.
Uh-huh. And what dates do you have in mind?
I needed to get the exact schedule from Ms. Vega of exact day when Amira gets off school. And that way I can get a program with my work, because I also have to take those days off for the whole 42 days so that I can, pretty much go pick them up and then bring them back. So I'm thinking it'll be sometime between early June through late July.
Excuse me. Okay. And that would take care of the visits for this year. And when you return to Utah, is it just the holiday visits that you have in mind?
No, I mean, like I said, I usually try to do like spring breaks, fall breaks. Like I usually try to spend any time that they have school off.
Okay,
with
but
the
it's not once a week, not once a month. Not
No, sir.
Oh, okay. I was real clear on what y'all expected from that. Okay. Ms. Vega, what Mr. Vegas says that, I'm sorry, indicates that you had told him he was not the father of the child. What's your position on that?
When I first found out I was pregnant, I happened to go into the ER and I had disclosed, that was around 7 weeks, that John Nicholas Vega was the child and he denied it. So from then on, I never addressed the situation. And once he asked me in the future whether he was the child or not, I pushed him off and I told him that he wasn't. But initially when I found out, I did tell him and he did not care.
How did you find out?
Through the emergency room, because I had started bleeding randomly. So I went into the ER. They gave me an ultrasound and they had told me that I was pregnant. So at the time, Mr. Vega was working out of town. And so I believe because the dates didn't really match, he had automatically brushed me off that we're not together. I was working. It's not my child. So that issue kind of started off at the very beginning.
Okay.
And it carried on till pregnancy. He would come and get our first child, Amira, throughout the pregnancy. And so I would try to disclose to him, but he did not care at that point in time. And then I tried one last time during delivery. Mr. Vega stated that he was going to school in Utah at the time and that coming down was not a possibility. So I did try.
What did you tell him about the delivery besides to be present?
Me and my mom were on a video chat and we asked if he could possibly come and help me because I did have a C-section and it was just me by myself and I knew the aftercare was going to be a problem. But what he requested was that he would pick up our first child, Amira, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was that I needed help with the boat.
Well, right now the issue is, did you tell him that he was the father of the child at the time of the delivery?
Yes.
Did you tell him after that he was not the father of the child?
No, but he stated that my son did not look like him and that it looked like it was from a Black guy. And so after that, the situation was just not addressed.
Okay. Let me see. Mr. Vega, what was the figure you gave about your anticipated income this year?
$63,000, sir.
63,000. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I misunderstood earlier. Okay. Ms. Vega, what's your feeling about making the trip to Colombia to retrieve the children at your expense?
I'm personally not comfortable with that country altogether because Mr. Vega's family did seek asylum from Colombia. So the fact that he's going back there and he wants to take my kids, I'm not okay. I have a safety issue with that. I don't know where they're going. I don't know who they're going to be with. I don't have any type of information. So I don't have any guarantee in my eyes that they will be safe. So I'm not okay with that. Utah, anywhere in the country, that's fine. But out of the country, I'm just not comfortable with it.
Mr. Vega, will you be returning to Texas or the States at any point in time over the next year?
Yes, sir. I mean, I work here, so that's the whole point that I gotta get with my work to even get those days off to bring the kids down. And everything would be done by court of law. And actually, she's got the exact address, which I actually sent to her, where I'll be living and everything. So she's been informed actually, and I have proof of text, proof of dates, proof of everything.
Okay.
Um,
Will you be returning to the States at any point in time over the next year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have
Not
some?
to permanently live.
I'm sorry?
Not to permanently live.
No, I understand. But how frequently do you think you'll come down? Are
As
you
in to
return
visit
to
the
the States?
kids.
No, to return to
Why?
the States for any reason.
I'll be going in May to sell some things I have in Utah.
Uh-huh.
But then other than that, I was just planning to grab the kids and then go to Colombia and then come back up to Texas to drop them off and then back to work because I work in Alaska. So I'd be flying from Alaska to Colombia, and back and forth.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Diaz?
Nothing else from the state, Your Honor, state arrest.
Okay. Mr. Mercado, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Diaz, do you have calculations based on his anticipated income for this year?
Yes, Your Honor, for 63,000. I have his monthly gross would be $5,250 monthly gross. So his child support for both children, no other children, is $908. And that's also, and that's giving him credit for both medical and dental via his employer of $704.60.
Okay. If you calculate retroactive child support, well, let's say back to the birth of the child. That's
Yes, Your Honor, I used this 2021 and 2022 income tax, and I have it the difference for just for the child Osiris would be $3,581 from the birth of the child.
okay. Were there any arrears from the temporary orders?
Zero balance, Your Honor,
Okay, good.
as of December 31st, 2022, and everybody's in agreement with that.
Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Parentage was established, I believe, out of the temporary orders that were previously entered. I don't know if name change is an issue or not. No one brought it up. Okay.
I don't think it was addressed, Your Honor, in the temporary order. So currently
What is the child's surname?
currently it's also Vega, Your Honor. Everybody's named Vega. Last
Okay.
name.
Okay, well, let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay, parties will be named joint managed conservators. Ms. Vega having the right to determine the primary residence of the child. I've got a problem with this Colombia thing too. Let me say, if Mr. Vega is in the States and wants to visit with the children, they can arrange that between themselves. When he returns to Utah, then it will be the summertime, spring break, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Child support, $908 a month. Mr. Vega will be responsible for picking up the children. Ms. Vega will be responsible for picking them up and returning them home at the end of each visitation period. Child support, $908 a month. Medical support through Mr. Vega. The retroactive child support based on the state's calculations, payable at $100 a month beginning March 1st, 2023. And we'll waive the court cost in the case since Mr. Vega initiated this. Okay, that'll be the order of the court, and we'll be sending each of you a copy of the order. Thank you much.
Yes, Your Honor, for the possession and access for this was Osiris. It's also adding the first child, Amira. Is it also added?
Whatever that order indicated, that child would have that right. I can't change that
Okay.
unless there was a modification of that.
And that was the only thing. Is that correct, Mr. Mercado? Only for the possession and access, not the conservatorship, right? I don't know what it was for that other child.
Yeah, well, I'm not changing. It's the same thing for,
Oh,
she's the managing conservator, but as to the visitation possession, it's for both children because in my motion, it was a motion to modify, Judge. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, well, then we'll make sure that both children have the same possession.
sounds
Okay.
good.
Mr. Vega will have the same possession, access to both children.
And
Okay,
May I interrupt real quick?
real quickly, Mr. Vega, we got a lot of other cases yet.
And regarding claiming the kids, it's every other year for the parents, right?
I'm sorry?
Taxes.
Oh,
When it
no,
comes to
sir,
taxes?
I have no control over that. That's a federal thing.
Gotcha.
That's a federal law. Y'all have to look into that to talk to your tax people. I really can't
Okay.
make decisions regarding federal laws.
And Your Honor, one last thing, the possession and access was for the 100 miles, is that correct?
Yes, sure.
Yes, okay.
Or 2,000 miles, whichever it is.